Hey, this is Notser, and we are looking at maps in 0.5.8. We're of course in the Fletcher, and this map is known as Loop. Yes, it's just Loop. The next map we will preview is Sea of Fortune, and then finally we're going to look at the game mode Bastion on the map The Atlantic. Obviously, The Atlantic is not a new map, but the game mode certainly is, and I'll talk about what it actually is doing. But first, let's talk about the map Loop. This is Loop. It has 3 bases. 2 of the bases have islands in the center, A and B. C does not have any islands in the center, and the islands are scattered around, perfect for those evil destroyers to run and hide. Even cruisers and battleships can use it to line of sight effectively and find an angle where they cannot be detected by the enemy when firing. The one thing that I will say about this map, it kind of seems hazy, right? I'm not crazy. It has that effect of moisture on the lens. Whenever I've used cameras in a moist environment, there sort of develops a sort of dewiness to the lens itself, and it sort of softens all the edges. That's the sort of fuzziness that I'm getting, and oh man, I can't even go through a preview of a map and not pull a Notser. Well, it's all on this dude. He can end our night, or he can completely miss, and secondaries appear to have missed. I don't think he's fired his primary guns yet. And yes, they continue to fire on our position. They have not hit us yet. We're still in the process of capturing, although he's stopped that process. And oh, here come the big guns. Oh, he missed. He missed. He only hit 1. You know what, though? We still got our torpedoes. Oh, he incapacitated 1 set. That's fine. We don't need more than 1. And I send them all out in a narrow spread, just a little bit ahead of him, because maybe he's going to speed up just a touch. And we hit not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 torpedoes against him, earning devastating strike and taking a really big threat out. I'm sure he's livid. I know I would be. How dare a destroyer pull a Notser? Obviously, he's not going to say pull a Notser. He's going to say run aground in front of me, and I cannot do more than 3K with my main battery. That's why it sucks sometimes. Oh, no, chat. Whoa, chat. That's a lot of salt. A lot of salt. But can you blame him? I mean, that is just a ridiculous scenario. You are unable to hit a target that is stuck on rocks, and I thought I could just slide right by. So initially I was going full force by, but it wasn't working, so I had to back up in front of him, and he only hit 1 shell. A single shell. His secondaries did pretty good damage, but a single shell is all that he was able to hit on my stationary target. And let's not pull another one. Let's not pull another one. Be careful of the islands, okay? But I was trying to get as far away from this Japanese cruiser as I could get. And I'm going to send my torpedoes because they're up already. I do have my smoke, though, this time, so I'm going to use it. And he's still rotating his guns slowly. So we can just unload a little bit. We are in high caliber, but that's not why we're here. We're here to see just how Loop plays, and this is a dangerous position for him, dangerous position for me. The islands are a little claustrophobic at times. There's just not enough room to really do every move you want to do. But I would say, obviously, a destroyer has the best opportunity to maneuver around it, and somehow we missed those torpedoes. I don't know how close we were, but we missed completely. Maybe he was gaining speed and I just sent behind him. I don't know. I don't want to be detected. So I'm going to just disengage from the scenario. He doesn't exist. I will fire on his position, though, to see if he decides to fire me. Oh, by the way, the center island in B is actually a runway, so it's really shallow. You could take advantage of it by firing over it or even through it. It's just so short on the ground, right? But torpedoes are not going to hit you, and he's trying to return fire. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Not too hard. Okay. Well, that was not what I wanted to see. and I was questioning myself, why am I detected? Did a quick check. There's not really a line of sight on the enemy cruiser that my friendly's trying to work on. I will send against the enemy Myoko because it looks like he wants to go through that gap over to sea. These are just huge choke points that you can take advantage of with torpedoes, and my experience with Loop has been that yes, destroyers have a huge advantage on it, and it's very frustrating, but we have to go against a Benson. I outclass him in tier, but he has more health, and I drop my speed, trying to avoid the shots, and oh! We really were detonated, weren't we? Should he use the detonation protection, Notser? Yeah, I don't need your input on this one, okay? I felt like it was my game after running aground and taking out that battleship. But clearly, Mr. Katz had other ideas, and that's okay. We are going to skip on to the next map, Sea of Fortune, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, this enemy Baltimore is going up against a friendly New Orleans, and I'm going to try and assist in the destruction of the Baltimore. Now, the Baltimore has taken out the friendly New Orleans, so I'm all alone, but he only has 3k health. Let's take him down, and he fires AP at us because it's white, but we're able to avoid it. And let's kill him. I switched to AP. I'm firing at the waterline. Please, let's kill the Baltimore. Please. Oh, no. We're going to take a little bit of damage. Come on, kill this guy. He's healing. That's not fair. We're doing good damage. Finally. Okay, he's dead. That took way too much time. But we're alive, and I am capturing B. Now, an enemy aircraft carrier is on approach. But let's start talking about the map. 3 points to capture. It appears to have much more open area. And the area that is objective play seems to be way more congested with islands to really keep you locked in, if that's what you want to do, play the objective. Otherwise, you have a lot of area as a battleship or a cruiser, even a destroyer, to sail around away from islands, not get ambushed all the time. It is a much safer map to play at long range than Loop, for example. Now, I like Loop because I'm a destroyer captain. What I found on this particular map, and you will find it too, is not a lot of people want to play in the congested area. Only destroyers are so crazy to want to fight in that area. I've been dealing mostly with aircraft and, of course, that Baltimore. But the Baltimore and the New Orleans wanted to go toe-to-toe, and that's just fine with me. And funny enough, I was about to pull a Notser again. I avoided the torpedoes, which I think the torpedoes were sent from the Kagero. You remember that enemy destroyer that we spotted as we were escaping? And I chose not to fire on him because I wanted my detection to drop off. I'm able to use my acceleration module to come to a complete stop just before the edge of the map. The Mogami, yeah, he definitely didn't have line of sight. He just blind fired, trying to hit me. He left the capture point. We will leave the capture point as well, after capturing it, of course. And let's not pull a Notser. Yes, okay, we're good. We're good. So, the enemy team is pushing away from the islands, something you probably just can't do on Loop. It's just much more congested. And there's a lot of runoff space to get a lot of distance. You can play it like any other map with a lot of area. Hotspot is a map similar, I would say, where there is 3 base captures, but there's a lot of extra open area that you can have fun in. And I'm going to send my torpedoes against the Amagi. I was spotted for a second, I believe, but I was able to give ground, and he's going to get squished between a couple torpedoes. We don't get a flood, unfortunately. I'm really hoping that the aircraft carrier was able to get a flood. Force out damage control. I can follow it up with my main battery. And just look at how the team is trying to stay as a fleet, and a little bit too close there. I think they actually bumped into each other. You'll also notice that, I don't remember, does this happen in live? Or is it just a product of the public test server and people don't give a crap about each other? But there's a lot of allied damage spam. that happens in the chat now, and I'm not familiar enough. I haven't seen that in 0.5.7, but I guess it could be. You know, if you played World of Tanks test server, it's the same thing. Everyone fires gold, they don't care, they just kill each other. It's just such a weird environment to have like no respect for people and to play it nothing like you would in the real game. It just throws everything off. This is partly to test whether some of these things will work out at all. And they were bunched up just enough that I decided, okay, let's send our torpedoes again. Maybe one of the Amagis will make a mistake. Chapayev, I don't know. Definitely not the Chapayev. He's covering ground very quickly. He's pushing into me. I'm trying to give ground. If you're ever in a position where a cruiser is pushing into you, you want to give ground. You definitely want to give ground. You don't want to just allow him to detect you. So Sea of Fortune, we're out in the open. We're trying to run. We're trying to keep speed up. My smoke is up, so I decided, hey, let's stop. And it's almost instantaneous how quick you stop with the acceleration module. So we're going to engage in the smoke. In the open, there's no islands to protect you. It's very different from Loop in that regard. Loop does have open area, but it's definitely not this much area because there's so much runoff, and that's what I'll call it. So much runoff, you can get great angling against the target. You can engage without the threat of a destroyer ambushing you out of nowhere. You should have a good read on the situation if you ever come out this far away from the capture points. But I will say, you're not really going to work towards winning the game out this far. Obviously, it's a test server. Nobody cares. They're just trying to have fun. Maybe look at the map a little bit, get an idea of what to expect. Maybe try ships that they've never tried before. I don't really know what that feels like. So it's completely fine that people are doing this. If the enemy team in a regular game decides, you know what, I really want to fight away from the objectives, and they're in a losing position, feel fortunate that the enemy is just ignoring how to play the game, because this is not what you want to do if you intend to win. Now, I don't care, it's a test server. And speaking of test server, we're going to go on to the Atlantic and the brand new game mode Bastion. This is the only map that it will be on for 0.5.8, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay just on this map. They need to see how people react. And what you might immediately notice is that we're not capturing A, B, and C. We are capturing 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why they changed it, but they changed it for the Bastion game mode. I think it's only for the Bastion game mode. It might just be to tell the person who's reviewing a replay, hey, this is Bastion. Immediately, that's the game mode we're playing. So, on the port side of the ship, you'll notice that there is an object called Surveillance Station, and it has 9,000 hit points. And it's white right now. It's white because no one controls this sector. Once a target takes control of the sector, it turns to his team, or her team. There's also a fort with some gun turrets, and I think it has 3 gun turrets that rotate 360 degrees, and they engage targets that try to take the sector. If it's neutral, they won't engage you. If it belongs to someone, they will definitely engage you. The fortification has over 200,000 hit points, but it's stationary. And whenever you try and target it, you actually gain a benefit to targeting it as an enemy. Just like any other ship in the game, but good luck if you're a destroyer, doing 200,000 damage with your main guns. Yes, good luck with that. You can't send torpedoes against this fortification. So yes, it's designed to inhibit the destroyer gameplay. Most definitely. You have to have your battleships and your cruisers showing themselves, taking out the fortification, protecting your destroyer as you're trying to capture it. Obviously, if a target is firing their guns, they're going to be detected. So there should be more people visible on the map. It should be something that maybe they're trying to encourage us to engage more often. Now, I don't know the thought process, what they intend to accomplish. Is this going to replace domination? Do they feel like destroyers are just too dominant in a domination game mode? Do they feel like battleships and cruisers are hiding too much and not firing until they get a perfect broadside on a target? Well, yeah, of course they are. who would be stupid to just show themselves for chip damage when they can ambush? We'll just have to see. We have lost the fort, and the fort will just heal itself. Over time, it will heal itself. You can continue to fire on it to reduce its ability to come back up. If it is not full life, if it doesn't reach full life, it doesn't come back up. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to take a sector, keep the fortification down. Take it out, and keep it out until you take the sector. And it's very easy to take out the surveillance system. It's probably one good salvo from a battleship or a cruiser. 9,000, that's nothing. It's a stationary target too. So it should be very easy to work it down. In Sector 1, however, it's behind an island. You have to come all the way over here to get line of sight and to take it out. And players just aren't really comfortable with the gameplay yet. I would say that's a fair statement. Now there's an enemy trying to take 2. There's a friendly destroyer there as well. The fortification is about 50% life. But it's not firing on anyone. You have to be fairly close in order for the fortification to engage a target. It really is just to protect the sector from destroyers that might take it. That's the idea, at least that's what it comes off as. And just like any other Atlantic game, I'm looking to have my torpedoes sent towards the target. This is a lot like Sea of Fortune now. There's a lot of open space, right? It's a diagonal, but it's a lot of open space where you're looking to send torpedoes. There's not really an island to hide behind. I also want to see how Sector 2 is working out. If you see on the minimap, the fort is back up. And you can see the health pool right now. It's basically full life. And it looks like a couple enemies might be firing on its position. This is definitely what a battleship should try to do anytime they have a free gun cooldown. But if you see a broadside target, let's be real. You go after the broadside target. And, ooh, an enemy destroyer, and he's pretty low. So I'm going to engage him. Now you might notice that on the minimap there are green rings now. A solid and a dotted. The solid is a circle that's going around a fortification, whereas the dotted is a circle that's going around the surveillance tower, and I would just interpret it as the effective range of the fortification, the effective range of the surveillance tower. I haven't played this enough to really know definitively what is going on. I just interpret what I see. I have not had to take damage from one of these fortifications yet. I tried to queue back into it over an hour and I didn't get the map again, so yeah, it seems like it's pretty rare. And when it's rare, I can't play it enough to really understand what they're trying to do. And the enemies are keeping their distance, so maybe the fortification is firing on them. I know the center fortification is being repaired. You can see the health going back up. It's also blackened. And what does that mean? What does the lightning bolt mean with the black outline? The surveillance system is up. And why is it a diamond? Is the enemy trying to capture it? We were still benefiting from the tick, I believe, right? When it was a diamond. I'm so confused. The enemy is still firing on the fortification, which he probably should. This enemy Izmo is moving in to the number 2 sector, and we lose our friendly destroyer, unfortunately. So it's just me, baby, fighting off this enemy battleship, and I am ready. Come on, give me something I can hit with my torpedoes. I'm trying to bait him in so the fortification turns on and just blasts him in the back. But it seems like it's going to be a while, so I'm going to send my torpedoes. I do have my smoke, and I'm ready to use it. Believe me, I'm ready to use it. And I'm really confused. What is the black and the lightning? Is the lightning just telling you that it is depowered? And it's sort of a moot point. You know, it's telling you the same information, both sides. Blackened icon and the lightning. Or is it telling me something else? And we hit a couple torpedoes. He is not looking at us, but he definitely looks like he wants to look at us. We hit another couple torpedoes. cause a flood, cause a fire. He puts it out, of course, right? The fire doesn't stick because he's still immune with damage control up. And if this one is gonna... Yes, it does stick. We got one fire on the target. I'd like another fire. And slowly he turns. He's still not looking at us. He's probably going after the battleship that's just south of my position. And I'm all for that. Just ignore me. Don't try and engage me at all. The fortification still isn't up. And it still is healing. So maybe it's just like constant barrage. It'll never get back up. I don't know. I don't know. Still really early. The enemy team has captured Sector 3. But I don't really feel like it can engage me. I think I'm the closest to that sector, and it's not doing anything to me right now. This battleship, though, he is under fire. He's got Okay, finally he's dead. Finally. The enemy cruiser's also in the area. And we might lose our friendly battleship. He's pretty low. I would love to be able to take him out. The carcass of the enemy battleship is going to prevent the torpedo systems. But we can use our guns, and I do have smoke, so I could safely fire on the target and pop my smoke if necessary. We do lose the friendly battleship, and oh, here he goes. He's going after us. Now, he could have radar. He could absolutely have radar, so we need to kill him. Right? We need to kill him, and I intend to do that. He put out the fire with his damage control, but it must be on such a low cooldown. Come on. Give me a fire just as he goes around the island. We're a little bit too close. Trying to get a little bit of distance until that mountain icon is off my screen. Friendly's able to finish off the target. Alright, we're good, we're good, we're healthy. And yeah, the fortification is firing on my position. It seems to take a really long time to get to the target, and I just can't even imagine trying to hit a destroyer at this range. But it was firing on us, absolutely. Another enemy battleship is in the area. He's right behind the island. You know, maybe this will cause players to try and fight with the islands in mind. You know, avoid it, hide behind it, that sort of thing. It's definitely revealing targets, though, and I think that's because they're engaging it, trying to keep it offline. I think that's what... Oh, no, the fort's back up. Did you just see it? It went green. Oh, man, here comes the enemy Amagi. Oh, well, we're still alive. That's more than I can say for him. Take all the torpedoes. Take them all. Take 6 torpedoes. Always enjoy landing a ton of torpedoes against a battleship because you know he can't get out of it. So that was Bastion. And it's interesting. It seemed that players were more willing to show themselves to take out the fortification, and in doing so we had more information, but I think that's just a product of not understanding. You know, maybe hold your fire and only reveal when you need to. Sea of Fortune was a larger loop, and loop was really tight. Seemed like a destroyer's dream. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these maps and game modes. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.